Today, I will be talking about how to set up a perfect day. Today, you just have to pick up your phone in the morning and just go through the endless streams of Facebook comments and images on Instagram. Sensory overload. And before you know it, your day is over. But pause for a minute, and I want you to think about your goals and your dreams. And as you think about your goals and your dreams, I want you to focus on who would you become as a person as a result of achieving your dreams? What would you have as a result of achieving your dreams? And what difference would you like to make as a result of achieving your dreams? You see, in life, we're either passively consuming media or we're actively creating something that takes us forward. And instead of looking at an empty part of the room and thinking, who moved my cheese? Shouldn't we be focusing on where is the cheese heading? And how can we create opportunities so we can grab the cheese at the right opportunity? Today, I would like to share with you three things. I want to share with you the bigger picture, which is the story that we believe in. And then we take a smaller look at the plan of action that we have. And finally, the focus that we can have during our day so we can take control of the minute details in our life. I bumped into a guy about 5 years ago. And this guy told me I could be successful if only I had better education, if only my parents guided me well, and if only I had a little bit more resources. And I told him, my advice to him was, take control. Take control of what you have. Our brain has this complicated mechanism inside. The pathways are connected. And every time we have a thought that's repeated again and again and again, it turns into a belief. And what you believe in dictates how you're going to live your life. Our blueprint, our architect of our mind, decides what we do, whether we take action or not, whether we follow through or we stay put. James Dyson decided to get rid of the bags from within the Hoover. But it wasn't just his belief. He was an engineer, so he knew that he could potentially solve the problem. So that part was simple. But that didn't make it easy. Just having the belief in yourself doesn't make things easier. It makes it simple. He still had to try 5,127 times till he came up with this cyclone technology and allowed all of us in the world to enjoy bagless vacuum cleaners. I don't know how much vacuum cleaners turn you on, but I was intrigued by this innovation, and because this guy persevered until he found what he wanted to. And that was a story he believed in. But as you do your calculations, how many times are you willing to try something before you give up? Are you someone who'll try something 1, 2, maybe 3 times and then say, that's it, it's drinks at the pub for me? Or are you someone who perseveres? It doesn't matter how many times it takes, I'm going to keep on pushing until I get what I want. And the question I wanted to ask you was, if you were a company, what brand would you be like? Would you be a brand that people would leave 5-star reviews for? Would you be the type of brand that people would share, tell their other friends about? They'll want to share, this is the person that I believe in, so I want to tell you about it. Do think about that for a second, because our story dictates the brand that we project to the world outside. If you have a limiting story that says, I can't do this, I can't reach further than this, I'm gonna hit my glass ceiling and stop there, then unfortunately, that's the life you're going to live. On the other hand, if you have a story that I'm going to colonize Mars at the same time as coming up with electric cars, at the same time as solving the Californian road traffic, then you could do that. There's no difference between Elon Musk and you and I, apart from the fact that the guy has a crazy story that he believes in and he follows through on it. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about was plan of action. You see, I bumped into the same guy 3 years ago, and this time he believed in himself. He knew what he was doing and he had ambitious goals, but he felt stuck. He felt overwhelmed. I want to be a millionaire, but I don't know quite where to start. I want to have this successful business, but I don't know how to approach the subject. So my advice to him was slice and dice your goals until you can reach some sort of an action step. If you speak to just a group of people at a time and you can impress them and you can get them to follow along with the goals that you have, you could be the president of the United States. That's what Obama did. He focused on one group at a time until the majority of the country got behind him. I was thinking about this principle, and when I applied it in my own life, I remember a few years ago when I signed up to do my first marathon. I just put it down on a piece of paper as a bucket list goal. I want to do a full marathon. Easy said than done, I know. I signed up for it, and then I had to think, okay, what is the very first step that I can take to at least start moving towards this goal? And you're gonna laugh at this, but the first 2 weeks after I set this goal, I just used to wake up in the morning, put my trainers on, and I would go outside. And then I'll come back in and go back to bed. That's all I did for the first week. And then the second week, I said I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna walk. And it took me a few weeks before I said, you know what? I'm going to run 100 yards. And when I ran that 100 yards, I ran out of breath. And I remember that feeling and just building it up one step at a time until I signed up for a 5K. 5K was such a huge deal. Always thinking about the big goal, which was in the front of me, which is I want to be able to do a full marathon one day. But the issue I had was when I was a kid, my uncle told me, hey, when you stand straight, your knees touch. If your knees touch, you cannot be a runner. So I had that at the back of my mind while I practiced daily in and out, and I built up those steps. And before I know it, a year later, I took part and completed a full marathon. How can we apply this principle in our own life? When you look at your goals and your dreams, one of the things I would suggest is every morning as you wake up, look at your goal and on a piece of paper, write down 20 ways you can achieve that. You have to be creative with these things. There's no single way of doing this. Every morning, wake up, look at your goal and go, what are the 20 ways I can attack this? What are the 20 ways I can approach this goal? And every day you're coming up with creative solutions. If you wanted to run a business and your goal was to achieve £10,000 in revenue by the end of the month, well, you could start that list by going sell a £1 widget to 10,000 people. Or the second thing could be sell a £1,000 widget to 10 people. Either ways, just by having two different options, you now have a bit of creativity and different perspective and a different way of attacking that problem. Slice and dice your goals until they lead you to an actionable step. Why do I say actionable step? Well, I know a lot of people that analyze their goals day in and day out, and they mix that with progression, but it's not. Analysis paralysis doesn't lead to action. If you're spending half an hour planning out your goals and it doesn't lead to some sort of immediate action that you can take right now, stop planning. It's not working. The goal of planning is to reach an actionable step that you can take right now. We move on from that to the third thing now, which is focus. I bumped into the same guy last year. And when I bumped into him, he said, I believe in myself now. I have big goals and I've managed to break them down into small slice and dice pieces. Sliced and diced them into small pieces. And now I know what to do. The only issue is As I go about my day, when I wake up in the morning, my phone is buzzing and the attention is taken over. Something or another on my devices hijack my time. My family needs my time. My girlfriend needs my time. How can I prioritize my goals when there's so much going on? And my advice to him was to focus on one critical task that you can do today. Our attention, it's so easy for things to distract us and take us somewhere else. And we look at our goals and we say, someday I will do this. Well, that someday I'll is an amazing holiday destination, but one I would like you to keep for when you've achieved your goals. I will visit someday I'll once I've achieved my goals. I will do this once I've achieved my goals. And bring your focus and attention back to your goals. And I remember this story of when I used to be in sales. I used to do door-to-door selling, 100% commission-based, and I would have to knock on 100 doors every day in the hope that I would get one sale at the end of the day. And I remember this particular day, I knocked on this door, I got inside. I'm speaking to this older gentleman about why he should buy this alarm system. And as I speak to him, his son wakes up upstairs. He comes running downstairs and he starts shouting at me, "No one will buy from you. I hate people like you. Why are you in my community? You need to get out right now and never, ever, ever come back." He was rude and he literally kicked me out of his house and slammed the door on my face. I had blood rushing to my face and my face turned red, and I knew what I wanted to say to him, but I didn't. There are things that you can control. I can control how I feel about myself. I can't control how this guy was rude to me, how he did not have to treat me like that, but I knew in that moment that I still had a few doors left to go. I had to control my focus there and then. So I decided to forgive him right outside his house and moved on. I literally knocked on the next door, which was his neighbor's house. It was a couple having a party. They invited me in and they said, "Hey, we have a need for the security system that you're selling." And not only did they purchase the alarm system that I had to sell, but they went for the upgrades and they recommended the service to their friends. So I could have chosen in that moment to just stay angry for the rest of the day and blame this one guy for what he did. But instead, I chose to have my focus back again, focusing on my goals for that day. My critical task for that day was to get a sale, and I did. So as you focus on your goals and your dreams, every day ask yourself, what one thing can I do today? What one thing can I do today that will move the needle towards my goal? There's actually a book written about this and there's only one question in it. What one thing can I do today to move the needle towards my goal? And if you're super busy, you can take something like something as simple as a kitchen timer, where you set the timer for 25 minutes and you just stay focused for just 25 minutes. Over time can start showing you the results you want. If you can nail your critical task, every day you pick one thing. Today, I'm going to do this one thing. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. I know it's moving me towards my goal, so I'm going to do it. You pick that task and today you nail it no matter what happens. And by doing enough of those goals, they quickly do accumulate. And before you know it, by the end of the year, you have amassed a lot of momentum. So by focusing on your goals, you can achieve what you want. This morning, as I bumped into myself, looking into the mirror, I knew I had the right story. I knew that I had the right plan of action. And I knew that I was focusing on at least one task every day. What advice did I give myself this morning? Well, the advice I gave myself this morning was to keep on doing the things that are working. Double up on things that are working in my life, the relationship that I've built, the friends that I have, double up on the things that are working, and in the other areas that absolutely suck, I know that I can make just 1% improvement every day and let them compound over the rest of the year. In fact, as I look back to those years, the person giving advice wasn't me, because I was seeking that advice. I was frantically going anywhere, including Toastmasters, to seek advice, someone who could help me. I felt like I was spinning the wheels, but not going anywhere. That's when I started reaching out to people in Toastmasters. Hey, could you tell me how to do this one thing? And people came forward and they helped me out. And I pass it on to you now. If you're struggling with anything, you have the community, you have the resources, you have the people around you. Focus on your own dreams and seek help. Ask these people for advice and they will share with you the nuggets that they have. If you surround yourself with good people, they will always be willing to help you. That's what I've learned. And with that said, I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes in the world. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Similarly, you are safe in your comfort zone, but that's not what you're built for. Thank you.